So what do you think of that, Bill? What did you think of that music?
It almost knocked my eardrums out. I went, oh my God.
Welcome, everyone. It is Tech for Senior Live today. Thanks everyone for coming. We'll certainly, if you are listening, please put your where you're from and your name in the chat box, and we will put it up on the screen and let everyone know where you're from. So this show is being broadcast today on StreamYard. We've been using StreamYard for the show. It's working well. This is a little bit different than our Monday show, which of course is broadcast on Zoom. So the format is a bit different, so you can't really, so basically we're going to be talking. We've got Bill today and Bob. I'll introduce those in a minute, but we're going to talk for the next hour, have a good time. If you have any questions you want, we love questions, put them in the chat box and we'll put them on screen and we'll endeavor to answer your questions. So that's of course, we do this every Friday and it's broadcast, as I said, to YouTube and Facebook. We also have, this is also taped. So we have actually many people that watch it a bit later on. So it is taped on YouTube and Facebook as well. So you can go back and find out what we said today. Also please subscribe to our newsletter. If you go over to www.techforsenior.com, make sure the www is in there. You can subscribe to our newsletter and all the links are in there. For those of you who are interested in technology and tech news, then our Facebook page actually has the latest breaking stories. And we're going to talk a lot about some of those stories today, including the big news yesterday about Windows 11. So if you want the breaking news, no social posts, nothing about grandkids or anything, this is only tech news. In fact, only people that can post on our Facebook page is Huey, Bob, and I. And we are pretty strict on what we post, and we only post the latest in technology. And we're going to show you some of those articles today as we go along. But let me introduce everyone today. So you all, of course, know Bob. Bob, wave your hand there. Bob, of course, is our security expert. And we were talking earlier, the most common thing all three of us have, we like to talk. So when I get through blabbing here for a while, of course, everyone will get their time to talk. And this is really having coffee with the three of us. We're just going to have a social chat this morning, and we're going to have some coffee. Today, of course, is I am so excited to have Bill James with us. Bill James, of course, has a nickname, and his nickname is called the Gadget Guy. And he was just telling us in the pre-show warm-up about all of things, and he's going to tell us what Sudsy is. So John Kennedy, he was on last week. He says, be sure and get Bill to talk about Sudsy. So he's going to tell us what Sudsy is. And I've asked Bill to give us his 3 top picks that he bought last year. And that's going to be hard for him because his house is full of gadgets, right? But he's going to give us the three top picks. So without further ado, Bob, do you want to say anything, or Bill, just pipe up and say something? I'm just going to have a look and see what the comments are. We got a few comments. Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, it's not quite as hot here as it will be in Phoenix today, but we are already cranking up that AC.
Yeah. Richard says it's 100 degrees in Mesa.
Yeah, as of 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my. We're 89. We're 89 here.
Are you? Bill, where are you now?
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City, okay.
And I'm looking over at my little smart display, and it's showing me the temperature.
Yeah, we're at 84.
All right. And JJ Johnson says they're in Illinois. Welcome. And Anne Marie's here. Oh my gosh. Good morning. Anne Marie's at every show we do. Thank you so much for coming, Anne Marie. That's great.
She's becoming one of my favorite people.
I know. I see her all the time. Jim Tallman from Venice, Florida. I bet you it's hot down in Florida. I wonder if he's having lunch with Huey. And Gerald Smith is in West Seattle, 61 degrees. Yeah. Yes, it's what is it here? It's about 61 degrees on the West Coast as well. It's a beautiful sunny day here. I'm looking out over the water. It's very nice. So we're not too hot here. Anne Marie says hi. You're probably all wondering where Huey is. Where the heck is Huey? Well, Huey's having lunch. He's at the I forget what restaurant he has, but there's a group of people he has lunch with once a month, and this is the first time, since COVID that they're allowed to actually meet together. So he said, Ron, I gotta go for lunch with my friends. He says, I like you and Bob, but we've been talking for a long time. I want some new social entertainment. So I said, okay. So he may pop in. He's got his phone and all the technology, so he might pop in and say hello. Carol, let's see if I look. Carol Walker says, a perfect 80 degrees, 35% humidity in Trenton, New Jersey. NJ,
Yep.
Is that New Jersey? Right? Okay.
Yep.
Trenton, New Jersey.
Vale. Bill, did you have anything to do with U. Dot of OK?
Oh, the University of Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
I attended school there.
Ah, yeah.
Well,
So do you know Vale? Do you know Vale?
I don't think so.
Okay. I don't know. Vale is my partner in crime. I always tell everyone he's the brains behind the operation. He's in the resort that I live in Arizona, and Bill and I run the with some other people run the tech service for our computer club. And Vale is the Windows expert, and he's an insider and all that sort of stuff. So he always is.
I don't recognize the name, but of course, I'm almost assuming that I'm way older than most everybody here. So I had my 76th birthday last month.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Welcome, Spring Chicken.
Welcome, Spring Chicken.
So did I in 1968. I don't know if I was. In 68, I was in the military, so I don't think I was there in 68. But I was in the music school. So if that rings a bell, then
Vale says try 81.
Oh, well, I think he has me beat.
So I got to tell you a funny story about
81.
Vale.
I'll turn 81 in November. So
oh my.
Yep.
So I got to tell you a funny story about Vale and I. Vale actually is a doctor. But he's a doctor of psychology. He has his PhD, and he worked as a private consultant for many years. And of course, I'm a physician. So Vale and I went out to help someone at our club, with their computer, and we spent about 2 hours at their place a couple of years ago, working. And he said, and the fellow's looking a little nervous. He says, this is going to cost me a lot. And I said, you realize, of course, you have 2 doctors here doing house calls, working on you. I said, we charge by the hour. And he looked pretty nervous for a while there.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so he was fun. Let's have a look here. JJ says, Bill, I turned 76 in April.
Oh, okay. So we're contemporaries.
Well, it is tech for seniors, right?
I didn't realize that JJ was, we were the same age.
Bill says psychology. What did I say?
Psychology.
Psychology? That's what I thought I said.
Remember.
That's what I thought I said. And then we have Jeannie Garrick says, I am the quiet watcher every Monday and Thursday, and I'll be 89.
Everybody's doing what up?
God bless. Yep.
Thank you, Jeannie. That is so nice of you. Jeannie, if you're watching on Mondays, please unmute yourself and say hello. I would so much like to introduce you to everybody. That would be so nice. I I would probably expect she's the oldest person in our show. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It is such an honor to have you and to have you listening. It is wow, that is so cool. Thanks so much. And she's coming in on Facebook.
Yeah, someone's still interested in technology.
Yeah,
I have to share that with you all that we have a member in our club that's 100.
Really?
And she drives to the club meetings on Thursdays in her Prius. And and the thing about that, so that's interesting about that is that all the time we were on Zoom, she never ever tried to get on. As soon as we opened the doors, here she was, and I was just shocked because I thought she would be one of the first ones, that tried to Zoom, but she didn't. She much rather have the live meeting, so she shows up. But she is 100 years old.
Wow. She's still as smart as a whip.
Yeah, still driving.
Yep. Yep.
So you're never too old for technology. Let's just make that a motto.
All right, listen, I want to move on. Bill, give us your 3 reveals. Come on now.
I have to give you my 3 reveals. The thing about it is that I kind of got into this totally by accident, as I was telling Bob and Ron earlier, is that my whole idea of automating some things was I wanted to be able to control my TV by voice. And so there was a promotional that you could get this Google Home device and you could connect it with a Harmony hub, which is made by Logitech, but it's you probably know them by the handheld remotes. But in this instance, it's just a hub that connects to your Google Home, and then you can ask Google to turn the TV on, change the channels, etc. So anyway, I bought that, and then that just kind of triggered everything else. But this past year, I guess due to COVID, I started shopping, and I ended up replacing almost every device in the house, including I've changed all my computers. I changed my I no longer have my air freshener type Google Home. I'm using these smart displays now. And then, of course, the thing that really got me going was the fact that I heard Ron talking about vacuums, robotic vacuums. And something that he said was that the new ones have what's called LiDAR. And I discovered that Wise was bringing out one, and they had a special deal, $199. And with that, you also would get a free webcam. So anyway, I bought the vacuum, and I have to say that's my first device out of all the stuff that I bought. Now, we're talking about I purchased new TVs, I purchased laptop computers, I've done a bunch of other things. But out of these, we're going to talk about the 3 that I really like best. The vacuum cleaner is by far the best investment I think I made. And I called him rather, Herman, and I have Herman set to run every other day at 2 a.m. in the morning, and it cleans all the rooms in my house except my bedroom. I have the door closed so it doesn't come in there. And I have it on the quiet setting so I don't really hear it. That doesn't bother the dog. And when I wake up in the morning, the 3 or 4 rooms that it's going to do the dining room, the kitchen, the breakfast room, the living room, and my office and a hall. All those are perfectly vacuumed, and you can tell that the machine has actually vacuumed the floors. And one of the things I've noticed is that it's cut down the dust considerably. Because before, when I was running the vacuum, and I think um, Ron will tell you that running a vacuum, an upright vacuum, is not the best thing in the world for people that are getting up in age because it's just too much pushing and pulling. And so I would run the vacuum maybe once every 1 or 2 weeks. And I have a dog, which is not the best combination for that kind of thing. But anyway, getting the vacuum cleaner has really uh, changed my whole, living conditions as far as having a cleaner house. And that's one of the things, that as we get older, cleaning, house cleaning particularly, becomes more difficult. But when you have a device like a robotic vacuum with lidar, excuse me, and the whole idea with that, it will map out the room, and so it knows exactly where it's going to go, and there's less bumps and into furniture and stuff. It just does a perfect job. And I might add, uh, Wise is having a Father's Day special. They've lowered the price of those to, I think it's 238. You might want to go on the website and look, but right now they have those on because they went from 199 to 250, I believe, and now then they've had a price increase. I think they were up to like 269. So right now they're on special, and there is a bundle where you can get the uh, robotic vacuum along with a new handheld one for a bundle price. And I can't remember what that is, but you can go to the Wise website to check that out.
Yeah, and their new prices also now include shipping, so it isn't shipping extra anymore.
That would be that would be so you're getting quite a bargain. But so
Right.
anyway, let me just say that that vacuum will stack up with some of the more expensive ones, and particularly if you're just kind of interested in getting into the robotic vacuum, and you don't want to, you think it's not going to work in your house, which is what I thought. I thought I had too much clutter around for it to work. But let me tell you, the very first, after I got it set up, and it was a no-brainer to do that, it just did its thing, and now it's
Yeah.
perfect.
So let me tell you about our master bedroom. I eventually cleaned all the junk out of the around on the floor because you really do need to, um, go over your house and make sure the cords are up, and you've got to sort of do a bit of work to do that. So I finally got rid of all the junk out of the bedroom, right? And I ran our Dyson vacuum through the bedroom, right? Now I can't really get under the bed and all that sort of stuff, but I did my best I could. And I really don't like the Dyson. So we also have a Miele, Miele German vacuum. So I ran the German vacuum over the carpets as well. Okay. So I did it twice. And then I took my robotic vacuum and I ran it and it filled it up. So I thought it was totally full. And I thought, okay. So I took it in day two and I ran it a second time the next day and it was full of stuff, right? And then I did it 4 days in a row and it picked all the stuff up that the Dyson and Miele missed, right? But part of that was I couldn't get under the bed and I couldn't, this can just goes around and it goes in the
Yep.
bath, it picks everything up. And I would tell you, I'm a clean person and our house is clean. And I was so embarrassed that 4 vacuumfuls of junk came off this robotic vacuum. I think, I agree with you, Bill. I think they clean really, really well.
And the thing that a lot of people will first think about, well, it has this very little small bin. Well, you run it more frequently so that bin doesn't fill up.
Right.
And I've
Right.
noticed that over the period of time, there's a lot less uh, debris inside that bin than the very first time. I mean, as Ron said, it filled it up, but subsequent now, I probably get maybe I don't know, just a couple, maybe a teaspoon or tablespoon's worth of dirt in there. But
Anne Marie wants to know if it works on thick carpeting, and I don't
I,
know how
I,
thick she's talking about, but
If it's shag carpeting, forget it. If
right.
it's just a thick carpeting, that's okay.
I would like to say that I have mixed floors. I have tile floors
Hmm.
and um, carpet, and then I have
Right.
throw rugs over carpet, and it navigates those fine.
Yep. Same
So
in
there's
my house.
no
Yeah.
problem with whatsoever. And I love the part that Brun said about getting under the beds. there are areas like under the dining room tables and chairs. I never vacuum under those. I just vacuum around them. Well,
Right.
but robotic vacuum actually goes inside underneath the chairs and table legs and sweeps. The other thing that Ron mentioned was the fact that you do have to pick up stuff. Like, I move uh, the dog will have his toys scattered through the house, so I have to go pick those up. Uh, but things like that, just do some. I know what days it's going to run, so I just go ahead and pick up the stuff. And
And you don't want to leave any loose wiring around
Right.
because it will
So
eat those up, and it's not fun when it happens.
So
well,
Richard says adjustable beds have power cords under the bed and that are excellent for trapping robotic vacuum. I'm actually doing a video. I'm making a video. It's in production now on how to organize your house to run a vacuum, right? And I've got all sorts of little power stuff and little clips I do, and to pick everything up off the floor. And I'm making a video on that, which should be out in the next couple of weeks. So we can have a look at that.
and Richard, I have there's a settee that's against a wall, and there's two table lamps on either side, and the cords run to a central outlet, and I have some cord covers over those. So I make sure those are pushed up against the baseboard,
Mhm.
and the vacuum will just ignore them. As long as it doesn't get that little brush that spins caught up in those,
Mm-hmm.
it won't you won't have a problem. Very
It,
effective on tile floors.
yeah,
Very effective.
it actually makes them shine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see where it's going around the table legs. There's a little mine has a little circle around where the vacuum is actually going around. Uh, you be no, I can't say more about that machine. It's just
but
absolutely wonderful.
but particularly for seniors, I think this
Yep.
is one of the big, is tech for seniors is what we need to talk a lot about to help seniors with technology stay in their own homes. Part of the problem is cleaning, right? And
Yes.
I think this now. So what are your three? Give us your three that
Oh,
you're.
all right. That's the first one. The second one that I
Yeah.
got was a the lawn sprinkler. Now
Oh,
I have
really?
an old I think it's a Rainbird or whatever. I can't remember what the brand is now.
Uh-huh.
And so Wise came up with the sprinkler system, and based on my experience with the vacuum, I said, "This is something I might try." Well, a friend of mine bought one, and he had already set up, and he was telling me how great it is, because I was the one that actually got him to buy the vacuum. So he went out and bought the sprinkler system in
Right.
addition to the vacuum. So anyway, I set that up, and one of the things that's so amazing about the Wise products, they're so easy to install.
Right.
Now, these are all on Wi-Fi. Now, I have to tell you that I am a Wi-Fi fan. I
Right.
have absolutely nothing wired and don't intend to. And I tell you what, if my internet provider says, well, we're not going to support Wi-Fi, I'm going to be really upset, because Wi-Fi, in my opinion, is the way to go. And I mean, goes back to the very early days when I first got my first wireless router.
Right.
I had in another house, I had another computer. There was no way that I could connect it because I'd have to string wire all over the house.
Right.
And so I bought a wireless adapter that's installed inside that machine. And so that's my first excursion with wireless. But anyway, but over the years, of course, I've just been everything I buy is usually wireless, and I don't
Wireless.
want to have any wired the devices. So anyway, the
Does the control system
control.
for the zones come off? Do you take that off, and is it a new control, or how does it work?
Well, what it does is that you take your old controller off, and of course the
Mm.
wires that are there, you label them zone one, two, three, four. I
Right.
have a 6 zone,
Right.
so I took each wire, and then on the Ys, you just pair those back to the zone numbers that's on the Ys plus the power, and I think there's a common wire too that you have to set up.
Yeah.
And now it's on the other end of the house in the garage, and I was kind of concerned about the wireless reaching out there. Well,
Mhm.
I also bought a new mesh router. I'm mispronouncing that.
Mesh router,
Mish,
yeah.
Mish.
Mesh router, yeah.
So anyway, that helps tremendously is getting the signal to that far end of the garage. But anyway, it hooked up to the Wi-Fi, no problem.
Worked okay.
It works okay. So what I can do now, I have my phone. I can see all the zones. I can choose which ones I want to. Uh, pardon me. Which ones I want to run if I want to run them just independently. But I have it set also to run at 2 o'clock in the morning. So it will run. It's also monitors the National Weather Service, so it knows if there's going to be any participant any rainfall in, in the
Oh yeah.
in location.
And does
And
it turn off automatically? No.
yes, it does. And then it
No,
won't.
you come on, Bill.
Oh, yes, it does. It does
Really?
everything. I don't do anything with that now. Uh, as opposed to that old uh, thing I had, which had dials and stuff, which I never
Mhm.
really knew how to operate,
That's the one I have, the dial one, yeah.
and I've never figured that out. The one guy, when he comes every season, I have to have him help me get it set up and running again. The new one is absolutely there's only like little buttons that shows the zones, and that's it. And
Huh.
so at 2 a.m. in the morning, it's running. So Herman's running doing the vacuum, and I call my sprinkler Purple Rain is doing the lawn.
All right, what's three? What's the third one?
Okay. And the third one is my new Wise door lock.
Oh, really? You like that?
Oh, let me tell you, I would go out, and I usually come in and out of the garage, but when I go get the mail, I'll go out the front door. And so I come back in and never really think about turning back to lock the door. So I've awakened many mornings and gone and found the door unlocked. Not that where I'm living is a particular area, I mean, issue, but still, it's just the idea of it being unlocked. So there again, I had some concerns about installing this thing, how difficult it would be. And for the Wise, the only thing you had to do was, I mean, it comes with a piece of tape that you tape on the outside um, tumbler, because with the Wise, you keep your same keys. The only thing you're replacing is actually the backside of the deadbolt, the
Mhm.
part where you turn. So it runs on a
So you don't have
couple.
do you have to drill into the door at all, or do you have to
No,
do any?
you just
No.
take the existing hardware off, which
Hmm.
is the thumb um, um,
The something.
something,
Hmm.
and replace that with this battery operated device, which has the motors in it, which will,
Hmm.
open and close the
Hmm.
lock. And it was very simple.
Hmm.
And they had a bundle deal where they also offered the keypad that goes on the outside of the door. Now, that's one of the criticisms about this particular door lock. If you don't buy the keypad, then you're going to have to rely on your phone
Right.
to, and I don't always have my phone on my person, but so the keypad allows you to open the door and undoor it and
Hmm.
unlock it, and you can set it from it to lock the door immediately, which is the way I have mine,
Hmm.
or 30 uh, seconds, 30 minutes, whatever. And but the really beautiful thing about this is that one of the things I had a problem with was that since I have Google as my ecosystem for running all my devices, and I run it through the Google Home, is that I had to go through a separate app to see the status of the door. Well,
Hmm.
uh, that's not the case because there was some sort of update that allowed the Google Home now to see to see my webcam and the door lock. So
Ah,
I can control the door lock and check it to see if it's locked from my bedroom on my smart device. So I don't have to really worry. Of course, the way I have it set is that as soon as I close the door, it locks. So that's not a issue with that. But it was really super to install, and
really
um,
works.
they, I think, Wise, of course, they uh, do a lot of they do the R&D, but they have other people actually build the devices. But in this case, there is I think it was a China, I'm not sure if it was a Chinese or Japanese company. It's called Inlock. They're the ones that actually developed that in conjunction with Wise.
Mm,
And they have some very high-end door locks, which are automated.
mhm.
And so they partnered up with these people to produce this particular one. But it's a wonderful device, and so we're covering things for seniors. We've covered cleanliness, we've covered convenience, and we've covered safety and security.
And I,
So
I
those are
have
the three.
their home alarm system, their
Yeah.
home security system. And one of the things, of course, it would not catch is if I leave the door unlocked. So the door lock is on my list. And so that'll make it complete because I
If you
like
buy
it
the
quite often wind up with the door unlocked.
Bob, it's real simple to install.
Okay.
The only thing that you have to, I would strongly recommend if you buy it, because now the keypad is unbundled, but you definitely will want to have the
Yep.
keypad.
Right.
Yep.
Uh, but you can use it without it, but you just have to rely on your phone, and it
Is
Right.
the
will.
keypad wirelessly connect to it? Is it
It's
wirelessly connect?
wireless. It connects to it through
Right.
Bluetooth.
Right. Bluetooth.
The
Okay.
um, the door lock has a little. I don't know, but it's a little plug that goes near an outlet at the front door, and it connects to that. But it uses a combination of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi to work.
To work.
But
So
it's
do you
like
have to have an electric outlet nearby?
well, pretty close. It gives you the how far it can be. Mine is right at the. It's pretty close, but
Because my lock is on one side of the door and the outlet is on the opposite side. So,
Um, I'll look and see because I recall it did tell you how far it had to be. Mine was
okay.
really close, so it wasn't
Not
a
a
problem.
problem.
Yep.
I'll check that, but you do have to have this little. It's another hub that plugs into the outlet and it connects to
Okay.
that.
So just before we move on to some more articles, Sudsy, you have to tell us.
Oh,
Everyone was,
Sudsy.
you got to tell us about Sudsy because you've taught now. The top three you've given us is the vacuum, the sprinkler,
Do a
and the
lock.
door
Wise
lock.
door lock.
But there's Sudsy is another one. But
Sudsy.
this,
Well, actually, it's Sudsy and Bounce, and
but Sudsy and
those are my that Sudsy is my GE washer,
right.
and Bounce is my GE dryer. So
Ah,
when I bought new washer and dryers right before Christmas, one of the things I wanted was they be connected to Wi-Fi because I wanted to be able to see the operation from my phone. And remember, the reason why I say that, remember, I've always advocated that my phone was my Swiss Army knife,
right.
capable of doing everything. And I carry it when I'm not. I don't use it much around the house, but I do carry it when I leave. So to be able to control this, it would be wonderful. So anyway, uh, Sudsy, the washer, talks with um my phone. So when the cycle is over with, it'll say Sudsy's finished the wash. So I can get up wherever I am and go put it in the dryer. And when the dryer is finished, it says Bounce has finished drying your clothes. But it's absolutely wonderful. I mean,
If you
I
could only get Wi Fi to put the clothes away, you'd be
well, the
in
only thing I was
business.
really disappointed when now let me tell you, I really looked hard and long for a washer and dryer combo that was all in one device, so that I wouldn't have to actually physically move the clothes from the washer to the dryer. I just wanted it to go from wash to dry. Well, let me tell you, that has not happened. There are ones on the market that will do that, but they're not connected to the Wi-Fi. So that kind of do that a wrench in that plan. But
Maybe somebody's listening who is in that business, and that should give them an idea of
oh, I
something to
think they
work
have
on.
that. It's just that why they don't have one that is designed like that, I have no clue. But I just really think that you can make your life a lot simpler. As Ron is saying, you want to stay in your house as long as you can, and so
Hmm.
you need to have devices and that you can run and operate with little or no effort. I mean, let the technology do the work for you. You don't have to be trying to do all this stuff.
For sure, for sure. Now,
Run
listen.
vacuums. Go ahead.
Sorry. I just wanted to put you guys to work now because we've got some questions that have come in, and we're just sitting having coffee. Yeah, we're just sitting having coffee, sort of shooting the what. But there are people out there that are actually listening to the show and are asking us questions, right?
All
So
right.
I'm going to give you guys some questions to answer, and see what we have, and then we got some articles to go through. But the first question is a good one. Joel asked, "Is there a way to use two-factor authentication on two cell phones?" Now, come on, now this is a little bit different because two cell phones will mean two numbers, right? There'll be two different phone numbers. I want to start using LastPass with my wife. She needs to use it, and I guess they want the same the same codes for the plan because husband-wife situation. So not sure what the family plan is. LastPass, the family, da, 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 da. Well, the two-factor, like, do you want to answer that, Bob? Do you want to give a? I mean, the issue that if it wasn't for two different phones, then the answer to this is easy, and you could use Authy. AUTHY is the two-factor. It's the Authy app, and you can put that on multiple devices. I have it on my Chromebook, my PC, and my phone, right? But those are all connected by one cell phone number that links it to me. So this is a bit different, you guys, because it's going to be a second number, right? A different number. So how would you do that?
Why can't you have a separate app on the other phone with the other number?
I don't know. I don't know if I
But,
don't what I don't know if the security when you set the apps up, it always wants to send you a confirmation text, but this time it's going to go to a different number, and I don't know how that. Is that okay?
but,
I've never done that.
but the
Why
way I look at their
you tell it what number to send a confirmation to. Whether
But if you
want it
send
sent
it,
to a phone, want it sent to an email address, you have choices.
right?
But isn't that what they're saying is that they want to share LastPass? So if you're going to share LastPass, then you're going to use the same password and user ID.
Right, but the catch here is here's the
Well,
catch.
it's the phone that's the
It's
problem.
the phone. It's the phone.
Right.
There's using two different phones. You see, it's not a problem sharing LastPass. That's easy to do. But if you turn on two-factor authentication with LastPass, and suppose how is that going to work with two different phone numbers? Right?
Oh, I
Different
see.
numbers. See,
Right.
these are different numbers. It's no problem in that if you all are sharing the same stuff, but this is two different phone numbers. And so that's the catch here. And I don't know the answer to that. You guys, so Joel's given us a hard one. Why does he give us these really tough questions? We need the easy questions.
Not unless you had a second account.
Well, the only thing about
and
it
you
that
can still share that same information, but you have a second account.
will
with
LastPass allow
LastPass.
you to get the message through email, or is it always a text message?
No, it's probably a text because it's got to go to the phone. or you've got the app, or you've got the app for the two-factor authentication. So just let everyone know, when you get that second factor, the second factor can come by two different methods. You can either get it as a text to the phone, when in that case it's coming to your phone number, or you have an app on your phone that generates the code, right? In other words, it generates the 6-digit code and you don't get a text. And that's what I use. And I use that. And in fact, the software I use is called Authy, A-U-T-H-Y. I really like that because I can put it on multiple devices. It works really well, but it's always linked to me, right? Not to my wife. And so what the question here that Joel says is, and I guess we'll have to do some research on this, you know, once you send a text, it can't send a text to two. I don't think it can send a text to two different numbers. I would think that would be a security problem, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Confusing too.
Yeah. So Joel, we'll have to do some research on that. Thanks so much for the question, though. Wish we could be more answers on that. Mike says, just watched from our backyard Falcon 9 GPS mission take off from Canaveral Space Force Station. Successful launch. Vale says, I use Alexa to lock doors and locations. So you use the Alexa. Did you say, Bill, you use the Alexa app as well?
No, I'm using the Wise app, actually, that comes with the lock, but there is a Google interface where it will show up in your Google Home.
And also Miss A.
Right. Will it link to Miss A?
Yeah.
Bob says it does.
Yes. Okay.
Everything else locks them, works with Miss A. The Google was added secondary.
Yeah.
Joel says, we want to use one vault list of password, two accounts, mean we have to coordinate two lists. If it was simple, I would not need to ask. Well, Joel, I think the problem here is one of security, and I'm not. The question is that if you simply asked multiple devices, no problem, we could answer that. The question we don't know is because of the two phone numbers. In other words, there's going to be, when you're sending a text message, how would it know which one to send the text message to? I don't think that's possible, because that would be a crazy security thing. Anyway, we'll maybe look into that. Are you guys ready to do some news articles?
Let her rip.
Now,
you're the only one that can do that.
I know. Do you realize we've gabbed along here for the last 45 minutes? We haven't even done anything yet. You know, no one's going to listen to us anymore. So listen, they're obvious. Actually, we don't even. Well, I'll bring out the news article. What's going to take up probably the last 15 minutes is I want to talk to everybody about of course Windows 11, and let me just bring my screen up here. Let's have a look here and see if we can make this. Let's here. Share. Choose this and share. There we go. How's that look? Can you guys see that okay?
Make it bigger.
Make it bigger? Okay. Oops, hold on.
Control plus.
Yeah. We'll go back over here. Just a minute. Just a minute here. We'll bring this up. Huh. Where the heck did it go? I'll stop sharing. Let me just click this again and see if we can. Let me get it up again. Huh. Technical problems. Let's just talk about Windows 11. All right. So the big news yesterday was, of course, Windows 11. You know, we've been suspecting there's a new version coming up, but as it started yesterday morning, I emailed Bob first thing in the morning. I said, Bob, have you seen this? there's all sorts of stuff over the internet over this. And Bob says, no, and we started to talk a bit about that. And then by the end of the day, not only were there videos out on it, but people were giving sites where you can load and install a version of Windows 11, right? So it is lots of things that have happened. And now this morning, the internet's just full of Windows 11. So I guess my take on this for you guys is, let's talk with Bill. You're a Windows insider. You've done lots of, I remember that great series you did on Windows. You talked all about you went through the whole, you got to have to learn it again, eh? Because it's Windows 11.
Yeah.
You probably had something to do with that, because you just want to do another series again, right? So, so what do you think? What do you think about this thing?
I'm kind of thinking it's just hype.
Yep.
That's my personal opinion.
Yep.
And I did see the video. In fact, I heard something about it earlier last week, and I just kind of ignored it because there's been other videos out before that had talked about Windows 11, and it's mainly individual that's just kind of cobbled something together and said this is what he'd like Windows 11 to look like. So I assumed that was again happening. But I don't think Microsoft has actually come out and said that there is a Windows 11. They scuttled what they called Windows 10X, which was a form of Windows that was going to be used for mobile devices and stuff like that. But I watched a couple videos this week. One is I don't know if anyone's familiar with Linus Tech Tips.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of a goofy guy, but he usually has some pretty good insight. And what he said, if you noticed any of the screenshots, that they were all done at different resolutions, which in his mind meant that they were being run on a virtual machine. And so he went through the process of trying to install that, and it was impossible. That the only way that you can do it is to have a special, and I can't remember now what he said, but there's a really good YouTube video that he came out with within the last couple hours that you might want to go and look at. It's called "Gaming on Leaked Windows 11" is what he's calling it. And then there was another one that was out, which I shared with APCUG. I think Judy sent something out to the advisors that they might want to share that with their members when they were talking about it. But my personal opinion, I really like the interface that I'm seeing. There's been some complaints about the fact that it looks more like a Mac OS.
21H2.
Pardon?
21H2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
if you're on the insider and you're getting the one that you really don't want to do because it could mess up your computer, lots of things look like 21H2.
Okay.
And
so
some of the things go back to the one that was scuttled, because that one also you had to get everything through the Microsoft Store. There was no installing anything unless it came through the Microsoft Store. And this video also mentions the fact that, hey, that's how you have to get your programs, is through the Microsoft Store. Well, lots of things don't come through the Microsoft Store. So I'll reserve my decision until right after I watch the release or the reveal that'll be coming out a week from today.
Right, they are having a big dog and pony show coming out. But
correct.
But also you have to remember too is that this last update that we got, the 21 H1,
was nothing.
Didn't have very much in it,
No.
And it was supposedly to be the big release to make huge amounts of changes, and they've postponed that to be for the fall.
Correct.
So in the fall,
The
when I
H2.
think you're going to see the big changes.
Right.
But Microsoft has not come out and said anything about a Windows 11. And as Bob kind of stated before, and I think Linus made the same remark that if you remember, Microsoft has said Windows 10 was the last Windows version you would be seeing. So it's going to be Windows 10, whether it's X, A, B, C, D, or whatever. They're not going to change the numbering system to 11. I would be really surprised if they did that.
Now, will they bring out a new version? Quite possibly. Dewey's talked about that a lot, and that's the one that's online, where you don't really need to, you more or less, you're working off a terminal. So, yeah, there are changes that are going to happen, but we'll find out in a week from now who's right and who's wrong.
Right.
I
It'll be
have to I have to tell you that I did something sneaky. I listened to Leo Laporte's Windows Weekly yesterday, a couple of days ago, and they of course had Mary Jo Foley and Paul Thurrott on, and they were you guys know who those guys. They're
Yep.
they're pretty high powered tech reporters. So I'm going to wager a bet with you guys. I'm going to make some money here. I think I think Windows 11 is coming out, and they do too. One of the problems is certainly there has been a really big failure of Windows, and it's to buy sort of twice a year upgrades. I mean, those have been nothing but a heartache and a lot of pain for people, and the whole process hasn't worked very well. The other problem with Windows 10, of course, is the 32-bit operating system is still in it, and because it is going to be, it is all that legacy crap that they have that goes back and over and way back to the start of Windows. They're trying to support this whole legacy issue, and the concept of that they were talking about on the show was that's going to be gone. The 32-bit part of Windows will be gone, and that will be certainly make this more portable and transient so that they can upgrade it easier, because this twice a year disaster that happens, they can never get it right. It breaks a bunch of computers. It's just a pain, right? And so they want to change that and make this but the only way you can do that is to get rid of a lot of the legacy stuff that's been there.
And I think my issue is that I think if people, it's more the commercial side of businesses that just refuse to upgrade their equipment to support the newer operating systems. They want to hold on to the old stuff, and I think we as consumers tend to do that also, which kind of puts gives Microsoft a problem. But I want to say this is that on Apple's side of the house, they upgrade their operating systems annually. They have the same hiccups because normally they'll bring out the latest version of their operating system, and within days there's an update to it.
Right.
So it's nothing to be upset about or concerned about. Is that it's always going to happen. You never really get it right. You're trying to support millions of people with all different kinds of hardware. So it's really amazing that it works at all. So
well, you recently had in the news a water supply issue in Florida, and what was the cause? Windows XP computer that hadn't been updated in who knows how long, shared passwords, and you want to know why things break? Well,
Yeah. So I got to tell you I guess it was a couple of years now. I'm being at the airport, but I have a little volunteer job at the airport. I go out and volunteer and greet people. And one of the one of the lines that goes up to the ticket counter, they had a bunch of automated machines where you could just, scan your whatever in, and it printed your boarding pass out, right? So these things are always breaking, and they never, they're always going down. And so the tech was there one day fixing it, right? And I walked over and I said, hi, I'm Ron Brown. I'm sort of a techie guy. I like to know. And I says, yeah, these crappy old things. I said, what operating system they're using? He says XP. And they're the ticketing agents. They're giving the tickets for people to get on the planes. They're using XP, right? So
There was when I was working for the FAA, is that I was on the supply side, but we went out on a evaluation trip, and one of the a couple of the radars that were in use, and this was well, it must have been 2007. It was pretty recent, not recent, but I mean it was in that time frame. XP had long been
Mhm.
replaced, and this radar still had the XP. And so my question was, why can't you not upgrade that processor? Well, there's just a reluctance. People don't want to go back and redo the
Yep.
programming,
Yep.
and they want to just hang on to this old technology.
Mhm.
Uh, and you're going to have now that we see all the ransomware that's occurring, you're going to have all these um uh, companies having those same kind of problems because of their lack of wanting to upgrade. And I really blame the IT department of those companies because
Mhm.
they're the ones that are lazy. They're the ones
Right.
that refuse
Mhm.
to want to upgrade anything. And so, if I was a CEO of a company, I would immediately uh, find out what's going on in my IT department and what uh, measures are being made to prevent this sort of thing. If you, getting your equipment upgraded and so forth. And if that's not happening, then I think
Get it. Yeah.
it's time to make some changes.
Well,
So, so
there's quite
in
a
our
bit of
sorry,
quite a
yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Quite a bit of changes are happening on that side too,
Right.
to make sure that people start doing those updates.
So we have 4 minutes left. You guys, next week is Prime Day. Bill, your suggestions, Prime Day, you're going to be out buying stuff. Bob, you're going to be out buying stuff. I'm buying stuff. So what you in 4 minutes, you each get you only get 1.5 minutes, Bill. In a nutshell, what should people look for? What do they should they buy?
Well, I think if you're in the need of a new laptop
Mhm.
or tablet, that would be the time to take a look at those. And tablets are very useful. Even though you might have a laptop or a desktop, it's nothing like being able to sit out on your patio on a cool evening and enjoy catching up with the news
Right.
without having to lug something large around. And
I did a video on the latest Kindles. They're out. The Kindles will be on sale for sure next week, and they've got the new Kindle. It includes the Microsoft bundle now, so that should be pretty exciting. And you get pick those up. If you want to buy a Kindle tablet, next week is the time to do it. You'll never see them lower.
right. And the other thing too,
Amazon Prime right now is trying to get people hooked to their service by offering lots of the paid things for a buck, and you
Right?
get
Yeah. Yeah.
two
Yeah.
months for a buck. So pick out all your favorite ones. They're trying to get you married to their ecosystem. Okay.
right.
Once you hook up through them, well, you have to go to the Amazon Plus, and maybe
Yeah.
you'll renew your subscription next year. So that's what this is all about. I signed up for Discovery Plus because I wasn't going to pay the per month charge until I know what it's all about.
Yeah, I might do that. Oh, the other
Yep.
thing too is that if you're, I always stress people to upgrade their modems and routers.
Mhm.
So if you
Yep.
haven't done that and you have a router that's more than 5 years old, actually now it's probably less than that. You need to look at upgrading to a better router, particularly if you get a mesh router and you
And also look at maybe Wi-Fi 6.
Wi-Fi 6 that'll be included in that. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, those are things that I would be looking at if I was going in the market for stuff.
Those are a good time for microphones, cams, all of that stuff. Because, hey, things are opening up, which means lots of people are going to go there in person. So
Mhm.
if you want to have one in reserve, this is a great time to do that.
And
So it's top of the hour, you guys. I told you, Bill, the hours goes by fast, doesn't it?
You need to add 30 more minutes.
Hey, Bill, did you have a good time today?
Oh wow! I love to talk about this.
Yeah. John Kennedy said last week. John said, "Where did the hour go? He was having so much fun." And yeah, so will you come back sometime?
I will.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah, this is great. Hopefully, Huey had a good lunch with his soup and what was the soup and salad he was having?
Yeah.
He'll have he was having a good lunch and had a good chat with everybody. We will see everybody on Monday. Monday, of course, the usual time for our main show. We've got lots of exciting things happening on Monday. And this show, of course, is recorded. So if you've missed it, you can come back and you can listen to it again and again and again and again and again and again. And if you want to find all the links to the old shows, the shows that we have, please subscribe to our newsletter at www.techforsenior.com. All the links are there, including a new link that I just put in there for Ray's music. So now all his music, all those songs that you've been tapping and singing and doing all this stuff with, is a playlist. I put all the songs into a playlist, and on my phone this morning, I put the YouTube app on and it just plays the music for hours, right? And all those great songs is all available, the links in the newsletter. So have a look at that. We will see everybody on Monday. You guys just stick around for a minute. I just want to say goodbye after we go off the air. And thanks to everyone for coming. We will see you next week, same time, same place.